Welcome to IFAStories, where ancient wisdom meets modern storytelling. Step into the sacred world of Ifa, the Yoruba spiritual system, where every tale carries the power of divination, destiny, and deep cultural insight. Join us as we unravel the mysteries of the Orishas, the divine forces guiding our paths, Òrúnmìlà, the Iron Moles, and many more. Each story is a bridge between the past and the present, weaving timeless lessons that inspire, enlighten, and transform. Embrace the wisdom, honor the tradition, and journey with us into the heart of Ifa. Subscribe now and let the stories guide you. To explore full Yoruba stories, Ifa teachings, and ancestral wisdom, visit our website, www.ifastories.com. Step into the sacred path for more resources and information. Here was born the secret of the head builder, prayer. Biti eboko ni yedi kuko adifafun Òrìṣèkú, omo Ògún. Adifafun Òrìlọmọrè, omo yo Òrún, adifafun ofuguapo, tinshomo Òrúnmìlà. Hijo ti volere Olodumare lore yerin. Awo memota todaruko wonyi o kenivo nigratodoyekan. Nivora ohimo kerekavo olesile aye vonibi avobade. Le aye boya ibalosan avo ju Òrún nalo agbalagba. Sujuvo von nilatikoko lobi odo ajatsa loti ikuin nibo. Eve kananie kilati samebanlo ile ajatsa niki omalo. Sarata babari lona niki von otokon seda osalaye. Odila ajaka ajamo tomon osei bivon barinde niwe babe. Ibikan, botivo opotun surun Ògbè Yónu nivori nigbati. Awo babalavo ile Òrúnmìlà, awo Ifa na osun komona sherenikuin. Keke minibe omibopi, akoko Ajala lemerequile. Ajake jirasi, jenmimon babin, kurelo dare nibati. Vundele ajake jirasi, vun obanile, ajake badukwe kuro. Lodare nibati, vundele, ajake jirasi, ivun obanile. Ajake badukwe lowo otuvare, ajake ni ori e yenida yore, ni ori todeleaye, kodara queri. Patakin, sacred story. In the land called Abiti ni Ele, there lived three beings, Òrìṣèkú, the son of Ògún Òrìlọmọrè, the son of the heavens, Òrún, and Afàwakúé, the son of Òrúnmìlà. The three were very close friends and decided to go visit Olodumare to choose their heads, destinies. Together they descended to earth and went to consult Odùdùwà, the eldest and wisest being of the land of Abiti. Odùdùwà told them, "To obtain your heads, you must go to the house of Ajálà, the one who builds the heads with the ashe given to him by Olodumare. But to descend to earth, you must follow a prohibition." Then he asked, "If while traveling to Ajala's house, you hear the voices of your parents calling you, what will you do?" They answered, "We will continue on our way to Ajala's house to receive our heads. Only afterward will we return to hear what our parents wanted." They knelt and swore before Odùdùwà that they would follow this command. They then began their journey to the house of Ajala, the divine potter who shapes the heads of mankind. Along the way, they reached the land of Afabere, Unyare, Nibitebo, Unyan, Kwelu, Obini. Upon entering, they sang, "Egun awa ile, Obaba ejo, Kintole ona fun ode Ajala ile." We the spirits come home, O Father Serpent, open the road to the hunter of Ajala's house. The chief of that land was pounding yam with a needle. He showed them the way to Ajala's house, but first asked them for help pounding the yam. Afàwakúé, son of Òrúnmìlà, picked up the needle and helped for 3 days. At the end of those days, they resumed their journey, joined for part of the way by Afabere Guyan Awa, chief of the Egun land. After a while, they turned right and encountered a gatekeeper. They asked about the road to Ajala. The gatekeeper gave them a path, but it was false. They walked for some distance and arrived at a land filled with weapons. Òrìṣèkú, son of Ògún, recognized the land of his father. He saw bows, arrows, swords, and began to sing, "Gun tomu ofatomu, Òrún ni bara, ni aun kwale, Gun moba sise egun." Gun draws bow and arrow, heaven is fierce, yet I bow, for gun does the work of the spirits. Òrìṣèkú said he should stay and help his father prepare for war, but the others reminded him, "Odùdùwà told us not to deviate from the path." He agreed, gave his father 2 akuku, roosters as offering, and they continued on their way. Later they arrived at Òrúnmìlà's house. They heard him striking the ajapon with his irofa, as he was performing ebo. Afàwakúé said, "I need to greet my father." The others responded, "We are not stopping. We continue the journey." Òrúnmìlà asked, "My son, what are you doing?" Afàwakúé replied, "We are heading to Ajálà's land in Abiti to choose our heads." Òrúnmìlà took his opal and performed divination. The sign that appeared was Ògbè Yónu. This Ifa said that one of his children was searching for a good head, but must first perform ebo with epo, palm oil, obi, efun, iyo, salt, adie, etu, eya, akuko, and opolopo, owo, abundance of money. Òrúnmìlà prepared the ebo and gave it to his son, instructing him to carry it with him. While Afàwakúé, son of Òrúnmìlà, continued on the sacred path, the sons of Ògún and Òrún, Òrìṣèkú and Òrìlọmọrè, went back to the same gatekeeper who had previously misled them. They asked again for the way to Ajálà's house. He told them, "It's far away." But they replied, "It doesn't matter, we must reach him." Eventually, they arrived at Ajálà's house, but Ajálà was not home. They decided to wait. Time passed, and still he did not return. Desperate, they asked the people of the village, "Where is Ajálà? We need him to give us our heads." The villagers responded, "That is Ajálà's mission. Many heads are available, but you must wait." Impatient, they decided to take matters into their own hands. They entered the temple of Ajálà and chose their own heads. Òrìṣèkú selected one that was freshly molded, but not yet hardened. Òrìlọmọrè picked one that looked complete, but it was cracked. They placed their flaming new heads on and happily returned home. But as they traveled, it began to rain heavily. The storm pounded their heads, softening them. They cracked, became misshapen, and turned flattened and small. They began to suffer, and life became very hard for them. So they returned to Òrúnmìlà. He consulted Ifa and told them, "You rushed. You chose heads that were not finished. You disobeyed Odùdùwà, and you didn't know that Ògbè Yónu is the Ifa of Ajálà. One cannot go out in the rain under this sign. That's why Ajálà hadn't returned yet. He was waiting for the storm to pass. Because you didn't wait, your heads were destroyed." Òrúnmìlà said they must now rebuild their heads using the remains, and he prescribed Eburi Elida to restore their destiny. Afàwakúé's reward. Meanwhile, Afàwakúé finally arrived near Ajálà's house and met Èṣù Eligba, the gatekeeper. He asked for directions. Èṣù said, "First, I must finish cooking my kalaloo soup." Afàwakúé patiently waited and helped him light the fire. Then he noticed that Èṣù was putting ashes into the soup. He asked, "Why do you add ashes?" Èṣù replied, "To make it edible and give it flavor." Then Afàwakúé did something wise. He took all the items from the ebo and added them to the kalaloo. The condiments, the head of the ram, owunko, everything. Èṣù tasted it and exclaimed, "This is so delicious. Give me more." Afàwakúé said, "I will always feed you when I eat. Now please take me to Ajálà's house." Èṣù, excited and singing joyfully, "Awo ashebebe, abere lube, awo odara, Ajálà malona." He led him to the house of Ajálà. A loud noise was heard from inside. Èṣù said, "That is the house of Ajálà." Ajálà had debts and was hiding. Afàwakúé, however, paid off all his debts. Ajálà came out and said, "How can I repay you?" Afàwakúé answered, "I have come from far away seeking the most perfect head." Ajálà agreed, "We will search for the perfect one, but first I must eat." Èṣù gave Ajálà the ram's head and more kalaloo. Upon tasting it, Ajálà sang, "Epo malero, Ajálà epo malero, yo malero, Ajálà yo malero." Empowered by the food, Ajálà took Afàwakúé to his inner temple. Inside were 101 heads. He tested many. Each time, he tapped them with an iron rod. Some broke, some were hollow. Finally, he found one that was hard, unbreakable, and perfect. He anointed it with bebe ashe modun eri, gave it to Afàwakúé, who placed it upon himself. Afàwakúé left, walking under the rain in the land of burrows, singing, Erinikan bimboba muinalayo, umbo odaha, Ògbè Yónu, awo Ògbè Ajálà. This single head makes me a joyful king. I return in glory, Ògbè Yónu, the hunter of Ajálà. Though it rained, his head remained intact. He began to divine, gained great wealth, had a good home, many wives and children. He became known as Ògbè Yónu eri sami awo Ògbè Yónu, the head baptized one of Ògbè Yónu. Closing note. Here was born the secret of flavoring the heads of sacrifices to feed Ajálà, the Orisha of the head, lèrí. This Ajálà is a path of Ọbàtálá, manifested through the skull of the sacrificial animal, an iron rod topped with a small wooden head from the Otari tree, spiritually charged with modun, eri, egun, obikola, osun, aira, lèrí, eya, ajanaku head, and an afose of 21 sacred roots. This Ifa also birthed the practice of touching the head with opale and aikin to divine a person's destiny. It is an odu of righteous purpose, intelligence, spiritual alignment, and wealth.